Well, the Labor Party formalised its new leadership team today, and at least who will be on the front bench. The positions they'll have, the shadow ministry portfolios, is being worked out over the coming days. But Anthony Albanese leader, Richard Marles deputy leader, Penny Wong as Senate leader, and Christina Keneally as deputy Senate leader. The gender balance that Anthony Albanese had insisted upon. Of course, the big question for Labor is, has it yet worked out why it lost the election and where it needs to change its policy mix? Well, at the first post-election caucus meeting today here at Parliament House in Canberra, the outgoing leader, Bill Shorten, addressed the troops, and he was blaming powerful interests getting what they wanted in defeating Labor. Amongst them, corporate leviathans and sections of the media. He did not acknowledge any failures on the part of his policies or his campaign. Anthony Albanese, however, was more conciliatory. He did accept responsibility. I understand the outgoing deputy leader, Tanya Plibersek, in an emotional address, even went so far as saying she was sorry for this defeat. More from James O'Doherty.
Labor MPs gathered at Parliament on a frosty Canberra morning.
A bit chilly.
After being frozen out of government by the voters, with Bill Shorten formally handing over the reins to Anthony Albanese.
So it's my privilege now to formally declare Anthony leader of the Parliamentary Labor Party.
But in Labor's first caucus meeting since a devastating election defeat, there was no joy, even for the party's winners. As Bill Shorten explained why he thought Labor lost, blaming others.
We were up against corporate leviathans, telling lies, spreading fear. They got what they wanted.
His successor was more conciliatory, acknowledging some small business owners felt alienated by Labor and that its policy to scrap franked dividend credits was off the mark.
I accept my share as a senior shadow minister in the show for the fact that we weren't successful.
That as Anthony Albanese announced his new senior team, including Christina Keneally. Don Farrell stood aside for the former New South Wales Premier after his leader made it clear he wanted a woman.
I said that I wanted balance in the leadership team.
Also standing aside for Christina Keneally, Ed Husick.
The Australian Labor Party takes seriously its commitment to gender equality. And I see in the actions of Ed Husick and Don Farrell that commitment in real action. I acknowledge them. I thank them.
A clearly devastated Labor is now looking to rebuild after its election loss. Its new front bench includes some fresh faces, but some old hands too. Anthony Albanese will divvy up his shadow ministerial portfolios on the weekend. He's facing some tough choices, including where to put Bill Shorten. Labor MPs were full of praise for their former leader. Mr Dreyfus, is it right for Bill Shorten to stay on the front bench?
Absolutely. Well, we respect the former leaders of the Labor Party.
From today onwards, we need to focus on putting ourselves in the best position to win election 2022.
Despite the man who lost election 2019 clearly not wanting to talk.
Is it right for you to stay on the shadow front bench?
Hi, gentlemen. I said all I was going to say in the caucus meeting, and have a lovely day.
James O'Doherty, Sky News, Canberra.
Which portfolio Bill Shorten gets, who will be the shadow treasurer, most likely Jim Chalmers is the expectation, and where Richard Marles, as deputy leader, chooses to go. He gets that privilege. We'll see in the coming days. That's the task ahead for Anthony Albanese, no doubt in consultation with that new leadership team you saw there. So the development that's had the most focus over the last 48 hours or so is Christina Keneally, promoted to the front bench at the expense of Ed Husick, also from the New South Wales right. They only get 6 spots for the New South Wales right, so one of them had to go. But then to take the Senate deputy leadership, that meant Don Farrell had to stand aside. He'll stay in the shadow cabinet, but no longer in the leadership team. I spoke a little earlier to Ed Husick about his reasons for voluntarily stepping aside.
I think we were very aware that the leader wanted to have a makeup of a team that included people that he particularly valued their talents and what contribution they could make.
But did he specifically say, I want Christina Keneally?
No, I think he made it, very clear publicly that he wanted that. The New South Wales right, having grown up in ALP politics since my teenage years, we do have a responsibility to back in the leader and help where we can, and we needed to do that. I was very conscious we just couldn't have a situation. It's just impossible to consider a situation where a former Premier like Christina, with the talents and the skills that she has, sit on the backbench. We needed to make a decision with respect to her, but we also needed to obviously diversify the New South Wales rights crew.